Hi, my name is Bretten-Anne Moolman. I've been painting for over 30 years. I live and work in Gqeberha in South Africa, and today I'm going to show you a little bit about transparent colors, particularly a brand called Lucas, which is a wonderful brand, and we're just going to look at how you can make many colors using very basic colors, one being Indian Yellow, Magenta, Cassel Earth are the warm tones, and then we'll look at some blues as well. Right, so one of the myths that there exists is that you can't make red. So it is a myth, because you can make red using Indian Yellow and Magenta, and one has to be a little bit careful as to this mix, because you can end up with an orange, but in true form you can also end up with a very beautiful red. So if you look at that color, it is a stunning red that is coming from that. To prove my point, I will show you when we mix a little bit of white with it, that it will go pink. Let's hope I'm correct. And as you can see with the palette knife, I have a lot more control over finding that color. One of the illusions in painting is that you need to buy every single tube there is on the market. So for example, if you wanted to make burnt sienna, instead of buying it, you would use again Indian Yellow and some Magenta, getting to a sort of a burnt orange. You can see the difference between that and the red one right next door. And by adding Cassel Earth to that, Cassel Earth is an extraordinary color, by the way, you can actually get to a burnt sienna quite successfully. If you see that burnt sienna vibe right there, beautiful rich color, and it really sort of takes you to that chromatic where you can work within that range. If you wanted to cool that off and perhaps take it more to a burnt umber, you would take the burnt sienna with the Cassel Earth and add a touch of cobalt blue to it, and it would take you more to the burnt umber world. What's interesting about transparent colors is that they are translucent, so they work fantastically with glazes. And also what is beautiful about them is because they lack the opacity, they have this kind of richness about them which doesn't exist when you're adding white. The minute you add white to any color, you are creating opaque. So when I'm adding white to the red, I create that opaque, which is the pink, right, which we spoke about earlier. I mean, isn't that amazing that you can make your own red? You know, when people have been telling you for years that red you have to buy, I mean, that's just extraordinary. Same with the Indian Yellow, with the white, taking it to opaque. Very rich, beautiful colors. Again, with the burnt sienna, if we take the white into the burnt sienna, we get those beautiful rich colors that come from a burnt sienna. And as I mentioned, you don't need to be buying every single tube on the market, especially with Lucas, because their pigmentation in their paint is so good that the mixing becomes really useful.